start the meeting. Minutes, last month's minutes. Everybody had an opportunity to review those. Second? All in favor? Aye. None. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. New business. We want to do new business first? Shelter alcohol permit.
Okay, so Ken actually sent me over an email. Someone has emailed him an Ann Benzinger, however you say that last name. But she was requesting the one-day alcohol permit. I sent Kent the information on the permit. So they still need to fill that out, but I was thinking we could, move to approve. I'm guessing. It looks like a class reunion for the shelter house. And I included the information from the rental on that first sheet behind the staff summary, just so that you knew that they had already paid and stuff too. It doesn't really give you much detail, but it's DCHS class of 2008 reunion, and they just want to have alcohol so that our standard is you have to run through us to be able to have alcohol at your event. And so they're going to still fill out the paperwork, before we can really say approve, but we could say, depending on paperwork that they have coming in that we want to, and I don't see any.
Yeah, and actually, Amy texted me and said, Ann's sending you an email. I guess she got online and saw my name. And Ann goes to our church, but she's been over in Ireland doing missions for, 3 years? 4 years? Probably, something like that. But her mom is Garnet Harris, Dr. Harris in town. You know her or not, but anyway, apparently she's the party leader on all of this. So she emailed to ask about that for their class of 08. So told her we would bring it up in the meeting, and I didn't know.
Yeah,
I forgot we had a policy in place. I figured that we did, but I couldn't remember. I thought we did this one other time.
Yeah, I think we've done it like 4 times total, if it's not us. But here we've done it twice, I think, and then we've done train station 1 time, and I think this will be the first shelter house that we've ever done.
Just one of the shelters.
Yeah. And then once that permit's approved, I'll scan it in, and I'll attach it to the file too, so that we'll have everything together. Which is kind of cool about our new software. We can actually attach tax exempt, and we can attach all the stuff to people's files and stuff.
We had any problems with alcohol permits or?
Not when people get a permit. It's the majority of the people don't get a permit. Still partake in the carbonated beverages or more.
Discussion? Questions? Concerns?
I'm going to make a motion that we accept that pending approval of the actual permit. Is that how you want to do it? How you want to word it?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
She thanks you guys.
Yeah, so from up across the sea.
From across the pond.
Big pond. All right.
So
Vandalism.
The next item we have there is vandalism. Been hit pretty hard, like 2 weeks in a row with some graffiti, and I guess they've been breaking picnic tables at Shelter 1 too. We've been very adamant about going down there and visiting with them during the day to agitate them. So we had some instances. We painted over it, tried to spray it off. We use elephant snot to get all the graffiti stuff off. Try to do it as quick as we can so that they don't see it, because usually if you see it, it gets worse. So they hit us 2 nights in a row, and then I got some trail cams down there, and you could kind of like see them hanging out on the bench, and then they see it, and then all of a sudden you see the trail cam flip over. So ever since they've seen the trail cam, and I moved it again so that you can't flip it over, they don't hang out in there, but they're still hanging around the outside of it. They hit us last night, I think last night, on some more picnic tables again, graffiti. I'm sure it's the same kids, but I can't, prove anything. And then Shelter 1, we've got like this, we call them the scooter gang, but there's like 6 kids with scooters, and they're like, taking the tables and making ramps, and then they're flipping them over and busting the boards off the top. So we haven't seen them, caught them in the act yet, but we're trying to annoy them as much as we can so that they go away. A lot of talks with them as well. We're trying to do the best we can with it, but it's a struggle for sure. And they both came at like the same time, started at the same time, so it made it a little bit of a struggle. And then the pickleball courts, of course, got painted in the process, and there was an N-word and a giant male part in the on the courts, but luckily it wasn't on the pickleball side. So we went to the manufacturer that day and went and got paint, and the only thing is it had to wait 48 hours once you painted it so that it fully cured. So we had to wait a couple days, but we tarped it so no one really saw the bad stuff that was on there. And it's usually a good strategy before it.
This is disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I
pretty
want to sit
mad.
down there with a shotgun all night. I'm serious.
That's how we feel.
I'll
I
do
went
it.
in.
I'll
one
do
night.
it.
Yeah, it's
I'm telling you, this absolutely
it just
infuriates
proves
me.
it proves that we need cameras. It proves that we got to have all entry points of the park need to have a camera on them. At least we'll be able to have some evidence to go after. I mean, we caught them with the DAC cam coming down, but it was so far away that you just knew it was 3 boys and a girl. But you couldn't really tell who it was. And then when they came back up, when you'd actually have a face shot, the camera missed like 5 minutes. And that was the 5 minutes that they were coming up. So we were close. And then I have them on the trail cam, but I don't have them doing any damage. But I'm pretty sure it's the same kids because they're there. Like it tags the time when it takes the pictures of when they're there, and they're there at 10:30. Like 3
So
nights in a
10:30 is
row.
when it happens.
Yeah, until they saw the.
So I don't even have to stay up all night.
Yeah, I know. Well, and we thought that until when I put the cameras, it scared them away. So I don't know where they're
Scare
going
them away
now.
when the
but-
shotgun goes off.
Very true. Very true.
What is that illegal? If I just
On
shoot in the
park,
air?
on park property.
You can have a firearm on park property. You just can't shoot it.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Came from the conservation club.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can we put a reward out for information leading to prosecution or
We
something?
can, but how would we pay it?
What?
How would we pay it?
We'll pay it
Well,
out. of
I'll pay
something.
it.
Yeah, we'll
I
pay
mean,
it out of something.
put a $500 reward. We'll pass a hat. We'll get enough. I'll pay it if you can't get it.
Yeah.
Put a $500 reward to catch the vandals that are doing this.
Yeah, I think that's,
Why not do
put it
it?
in the paper or something and.
We don't have any
I know those kids that snitch out each other for $500.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's
That's
just
what
the
I'm thinking.
thought, though.
Yeah,
that
of the
it's just the
$500.
thought.
Yeah.
Plus, someone else might snitch them out. Kids are big
Say
mouths.
$500 worth of DAC one-day entries. Try to be creative.
That absolutely. We got to do something about it.
And I think cameras are the answer.
Do they climb up and over the fence for the pickleball, or how do they get in there to paint it
Well, the gates are always open, so
all the time?
yeah. We thought about actually maybe rigging up mag locks on it to where they'd automatically lock at some point, but we don't have the time to do that. And I think we're just gonna have to start phasing in those lock things too, because I think that helps a lot, where they just automatically close at dusk, and then we don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff. Because North Park restrooms should be good now, and then we're gonna go to the train station and do the same thing at the train station, because those get heavily abused, and they're in need of a serious makeover. Yeah, so we spent. I probably got I mean, at least 8 to 16 hours just in that. You know, filing police reports, taking pictures, setting up the trail cam, trying to catch them multiple nights, you know, all that stuff. I mean, Eric went over and sat with the guys at Shelter 1, you know, and just talked to them. I went over and sat with the people at Shelter 2, and I was like, hey, I've seen you three on camera. If anything happens to this shelter, I'm coming after you.
How old are these kids?
So Shelter 2, they're probably freshmen, I would say. And then Shelter 1, they're a little bit younger. I'm thinking they're probably middle school. They're probably like 8th grade.
That one kid.
Yeah, there's a kid that's hanging out with them both that's older than them.
35-year-old.
Yeah. Not that old, but he's probably, I think they said he's out, because I talked to the police about it, and I think he's actually out of high school. So that's what
Hanging
leads,
with little kids.
that's what leads me to believe that he's probably not good. And he was the one that we started harassing a little bit. You know, just being like, hey, what are you doing? What are you up to? What you got in your bag? You know, just those kind of things.
Make them
'cause
empty
it's-
the bag.
Well, we can't.
How do they know that?
I don't want to get in trouble. Usually we have to
Empty it
call
or get out of the
police.
park.
What's the negative side of a reward?
How do we pay for it?
Okay, we got that
Private
covered.
donation.
Yeah,
Cover the
we'll
fines.
figure that out.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to probably wait till the next go round. And it's hard with the snapshot trail cam because then I just have pictures. You don't actually catch them doing
That's why we need
that.
somebody to rat somebody out.
Do we have Wi-Fi enough to where you can put up like 1,000 of those blink cameras and stuff like that? I mean,
No, I mean that's a pool, and then the train station. But those have data ranges. They also eat your band too. So if you put those up, you don't have Wi-Fi. Anyway.
Wi-Fi at night. The cameras on.
You have to go in physical. I know, believe me.
I mean, it's, I don't know what it costs you guys, but it's gotta be more than $500 if it's the cost.
It's
you.
that the man hours are really the worst
Yeah,
part,
I mean-
and I mean
well,
when
brand
you
new court.
brand new
That's-
courts. That's what
Right.
that one hurt me.
That's so disrespectful.
I just can't even fathom. I just,
I know.
just absolutely can't fathom.
And they hit us a lot that day too.
I saw
Multiple
someone
areas.
sanding out the gazebo for a few
Yeah,
hours.
that there was probably
horrible.
50 sayings in the gazebo. It was bad. But luckily it's wood, so it's really easy to fix wood. It's when it goes on the concrete
Just
or
want to make them clean it up themselves.
I know.
Get them down there and clean it.
It's hard to even put a number on that, you know, because we had 4 or 5 staff members, you know, a couple days just working on that in general.
I think the threat of a reward, and again, you just tie it to, you know, any kind of prosecution. I mean, because
Yeah.
we'll never pay it.
We add more
because
lights,
Just the scare factor.
add more lights and see if we can get more patrol. I mean,
Motion
those are the
lights.
two.
The motion lights,
I mean, I'm talking, yeah.
all of a sudden, if you're over there and all of a sudden some big light comes on, it's gonna make you feel like, well, let's just stay here. I mean,
There's lights.
but the
Shelter
motion detector
one.
lights are I think,
Yeah,
powerful.
flood you with the
Yeah.
light.
Our
And they're
biggest
not
problem
that-
is where we put those facilities, Shelter 1, Shelter 2, they're like hidden. Yeah, so they'll bash out the lights or they'll go. I mean, they can hang out in there and you still can't even like see them because when they see a car, they can hide.
You do a little Rambo stuff.
Yeah. The trail cams are good if we could figure out a way to like, if those could go to Wi-Fi and send me a text, you know, I'm sure they probably have something and I'll look into that a little bit. But if they could go to Wi-Fi, shoot me a text whenever
But
there's somebody in there.
Aren't those blink ones the same way? They're motion censored, so they just kick on.
Yeah, but aren't those are like house ones, right?
Like the Ring
They're
video
part of the
doorbell.
nest.
Well, you got them outside. You can tape them to trees and whatever.
The problem with those is so then we'd have to have infrared, right? Well, infrared has the light too, so those will get bashed. And I already messed with my trail cam and bashed the sensor on it. whatever you put in, it's got to be like fully either high enough to where they can't get to it, or I mean, if it didn't store the information inside of it, it would be okay.
Can you buy
catch
bear
it.
traps that don't really break the flesh? They just,
Just kind of grab on
yeah, they just crush
pythons.
bone. We don't really want to like.
Yeah, we thought about electrifying stuff to where like at a certain hour it just all electrifies.
I like that.
Yeah.
110 volts all
Yeah,
around.
just enough to make them feel it. Yeah, so I mean, besides last night, it's calmed down a little bit, but we're definitely out to find them and irritate them because usually that works the best. You know, they're not going to come back if you start talking to them and you start, hey, I'm watching you, we're watching you.
Take
blah,
their,
blah.
take their pictures.
Well, we can't take pictures of kids. I mean, anyone under 18?
You can't just take a picture of them?
Yeah, people do all the time with the phone.
Yeah, but it's not legal. Because I asked the police one time about, can we take a picture? Because, I mean, a lot of times I'll walk up and there'll be people doing bad things when I walk up. And they're like, yeah, you can't take a picture. You can't confiscate their goods. All you can do is talk to them. And we have to see the bad thing that you're looking at to be able to search them. We have to smell it. Yeah.
Or
We thought about taking it and running a couple times, like just grab their stuff and run, because that's the only way they're going to get in trouble. I know I
or
mean,
you could deputize this.
I know that's what I tried to get Keith
Then we
Gill
could
to
do
do back in the day. Yeah,
Search or.
and then we could take the pictures and use them as evidence. But I don't know. It's a struggle for real because and you wish you could just vacate them on the thought. But if you don't have evidence, it's never going to be able to. And then when the police come, they're, usually they see him and just dart. So it's hard to bust them sometimes. Usually we have to kind of like strategize it. But they'll usually go away for a while when we irritate them.
What's irritating?
That'd be a better solution.
Other communities do. Do you have any idea?
I mean, they all live through the same thing. It's what we're dealing with is not
part of it.
any different from anybody else. So with our park, the good thing and bad thing is it's great that it's walkable, but it's walkable. You're gonna have people in there past hours. Unless you lock all the gates, but they're still gonna walk in because it's a walkable park. So you're gonna have people in there past your normal hours. I can't tell you the amount of times when I've like strolled in here real late to go grab something from the office and there's like 5 cars in here, people walking on the trails. When I went through the security camera, there were 4 groups of people between 11 and 1:30 a.m. that walked through to go to the park, which was really weird. But, some people work different hours, so I go out and run on the trail, which is perfectly fine, I guess, but technically the park is closed at 11. So.
Put deer stands up.
Dave,
Paintball guns.
Dave, don't ask any more questions. Just plead ignorance.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to incriminate yourself.
All right, well,
Let us know if there's anything we can do. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, really, if I can just get a picture of them, that's where I need to be at the spot where the damage was done.
Do you need more cameras? I mean,
We do, but
trail cameras? We probably have some at our
trail
house.
cams are a real pain in the butt because you gotta it's got an SD card in it, so if they
Right.
break it and take it, it's gone. All the data's gone too. They're great if you can hide them, but the problem is they have that infrared, so it's really hard to hide something that has that infrared because it's got the red light with it. But
So
if you
next
don't have the
summer-
infrared, you're not gonna be able to tell who it is.
Right.
We thought about putting them in the trees around it, but they're so far away, you're not going to get a good picture unless you just put it like right where their face is going to be. And we got them, it just wasn't the days that. I'm pretty sure it's the same kids.
DNR uses. They've got a specific area that they're taking photos, you know. Put it nearby. That's
Yeah.
like to be able to actually
Hard to hide it, and it's,
get it in, even if
it's more of like, if we had permanent things there, you probably, then we could put signage there too, and then you'd be a lot less likely with the signage, lights, and to have the cameras there so they can see them. No one will do anything. Environment. Unless they didn't see it. Got them then. Struggle's real.
Anything we can do to assist or push or promote, let us know.
Okay.
We'll do it. All right, trees.
So we got the Norwegian spruces in. We also replaced a couple dead ones. And then the town also, I found out, put in those concrete barriers. Ray put them in. So I mean, right now, technically, unless they drive on the sidewalk, they're probably not going to get around us. Hopefully, we have it solved. I talked to the Stratford HOA. One of them, I don't know if he was present or not. They have a meeting tonight, and we're working on that vulture tree thing. Trying to get rid of that tree across from CVS. So I'm going to meet with them, just confirm that this is the right tree and that they're happy with it. And then
Discussion. Okay, next topic is the handrails.
So apparently, when you powder coat the hand railing, it takes 6 weeks per handrail. Yeah, so we're looking at probably, I'm guessing, another month before we get it.
Wow.
Yeah. Because on the thing, it doesn't say per, but when I called them, they said it was per handrail. Why don't you just put them all together
Yeah.
at one time? But I guess there's a process in it, so when we get them in, they'll go right up.
Okay.
So.
All right, Lighting House.
So waiting on dates for install from the company for the gutters. I mean, everything's going good with that. We're just waiting on install.
Old Business Amphitheater.
So Scott's supposed to meet with me next week, and we're going to work on some options with the 2 drawings that we talked about last time. I'm hoping to have those 2 drawings with the extras, you know, the things that Scott, the walls or whatever that we wanted to put on. I'm hoping to have those drawings by the next meeting. And then we can kind of go from there and pick one. Or if we want to make changes, we can make changes. So that one's moving along pretty good, and I'm hoping it'll be in this year. I think we should be able to accomplish it. It's all about whatever construction company we pick, their timeline.
So the town boards approved this.
Yeah, they approved the 90,000.
So it's all systems go.
Yeah, it's all
You know,
systems
Peg was gonna
go.
write that article, and I told her I didn't know if it was for sure.
Oh yeah, it's for sure. I mean,
So
The-
she can write the article.
Yeah,
She
the only thing
remember when
we're-
she interviewed you, and she was gonna, and she's saying, "I'm not. Is this either?" So
Yeah.
it has been approved.
Host 2018. I have to do it this year, so at least it will be
Well, that's
paid this
cool.
year.
Great.
It may not be in the ground, but it'll be paid this year.
Okay.
And then if we can't afford some of those extra things, at least we'll have the drawings to do it, and we can probably add it in later, whenever. But I think we should be able to afford something.
It. Further discussion? Great. Vultures?
So we confirmed the contract with Simon Davies. He's going to help us along with also with us receiving an effigy permit. We're going to do the effigy route, which we'll be putting some up in the trees. So Probably be some sort of quasi press release, not to the public, but to the neighbors. Saying, hey, if you see this, this is what it is. We're working on migrating the vulture population back to waste management. So, he didn't really give me a timeline yet, so I'm guessing he wants to secure those birds first, because he has to get them through the airport authority, because they actually are allowed to own them, birds, to use them, and then they're going to give them to him, and he's going to give them to us. We may not have to pay for any birds. We have to pay for his services. So that's the town is picking up.
Okay.
Never thought I'd be doing this in my lifetime.
Okay. All right, moving on to wayfinding.
And just like last time, until I get the amphitheater stuff done, I don't want to work on the wayfinding stuff, but I am going to get those drawings like we talked about. So I'll be working on that.
Real quick before we get to reports, have we heard anything as far as from Little League football and any of those as far as
The future?
timeframe, schedule, future for the new?
Not really. I mean, we had that last meeting, and then I ran
Yeah,
into
I
Kyle
haven't
at
heard anything
AJA one day, and he is. He says they're all systems go, really, and this year, you know, they're planning on still just being down there, and I think we should be good. You know, if we seed in the fall, I think we should be good to at least make some migration up there. But I think we need to meet again and talk about sponsorship, naming rights and stuff, and see if we can't go out and try to approach some of the bigger businesses and see if they're interested. We have all the drawings now. I mean, really the next step is just securing some sponsorship. If we could get one or two of those buildings to be
All right, reports, financials.
Nothing crazy to report there. So the pool's open. I didn't actually have that in my report, but we're doing really well. I mean, it was a hot opening and stuff too, so
Yeah.
the financials are
great.
looking pretty good. We are having some things break at a pretty normal rate, as usual, and we're fixing them as we go. We're a little high on the budget, I would say, but that's because we bought some chairs. We had painting to do this year. It should settle down after this next couple fixes. We shouldn't really have anything major that we should have to fix. So it should kind of be seamless from here on out, unless something major breaks. But we had a pump go down, locked up. That's going to be around $2,600 just for that pump. We got it re-Teflon coated, re-put together and everything. They finally got all that done. So we're fully functional right now. Besides, we have a auto fill that's giving us some fits on the splash pad, causing us a lot of problems because we lose prime. Once we lose prime, it takes like an hour. It's an hour of pain, especially if it's on the weekend or something. It's like you come in to do the chemicals and you're thinking you're going to then you're there for an hour and a half. Fix it yourself. So I'm looking into that this week, and that's one of my main goals is to get that thing fixed. And I think I'm gonna rebuild it, and that's only gonna be like $600. It'd be nice when it's functional. Yeah, nothing too crazy there. Yeah, I don't really have anything else on that. Just that we're doing well at the pool is really important. As we were only in the 5,000 plus, I think, last year, and I think we're a lot better than that.
5,000 gates?
Yeah, profit.
Oh, 5,000 profit. What's the attendance?
I mean, attendance is probably way better, but our main thing is membership. You know, that's what keeps us alive. Kind of like the DAC. You know, we probably make quite a bit in day passes at the DAC, but if you don't have a good membership, you know, you're not going to make it through
So
the
your
time.
membership is what right now?
We have 600 and I think it was like 632 the
In
last
the
time.
swimming
I looked.
pool.
Members, yeah. Which is about what we had last year. I think we had 615 or something last year. So we're up a little bit, but you know, we're only 2 weeks in, starting the third week. I mean, there still could be some memberships trickling in the next. I don't think I looked, but last week on Friday, there's probably some this weekend. It looks like we're going to be up in that factor. And now, because we're fully in, we can actually check day passes too from last year to this year. So we can really see, because we have the software, we can kind of see where we're at versus last year too, which is kind of cool. We can pull some of those numbers at the end of the year. We'll really be able to dig into it and look around. How'd we do?
Questions on the financials? Move on to the DAC report.
So, still working on the software integration. When we were about to start the season, then we had a part-timer quit, and it kind of wrecked everything we had going. We had some good momentum. She was getting, you know, everything was going really well with her, and then she decided to quit, and it pretty much wrecked our train.
Tara?
Tara
Tara
quit,
quit?
yeah.
I heard that. Why did she quit?
Yeah, I mean, she quit. I mean, she didn't say specifics, but you know, family and all that kind of stuff. So, and for us, it was pretty devastating because you know we had already kind of planned out the summer, like hours wise and everything, and she was in charge of some things like summer park program. We had 4 days to turn around and have Nate kind of take it over, which is luckily Erica, our intern. This is Erica, by the way. She stepped in and really has a lot of background in summer camps. So she's come in and like really helped Nate, you know, kind of transition into that world. So that helped a lot. And she's really been kind of taking on some of the Tara roles that were vital to our survival. We have already had interviews, really down to like 2 candidates, and Nate just needs to pick which one he wants. And hopefully we can move forward and get them hired and get both of them, you know, can start immediately. So that is awesome. But it's going to take probably maybe even 2 months just to get them to understand how we work things. So, the future's good, but it was like the worst time to have someone quit because it really just threw everything out the window that we had planned. And that all happened at the graffiti time and the pool opening, and it was like the perfect storm. I think I worked like 65 hours that week. Yeah, but you know, there's always gold at the end of the rainbow, so you just gotta kind of be like, all right, this is good. We'll figure it out. You know, who's doing what when, negotiate it, and move forward. So we're almost to where we can hire another person. So we're good.
Push the software integration back to the next agenda. Programs. Recent
So
programs.
pickleball league, that started. We had really good. I think we had like 23 teams or something in that, which is really awesome because I started back up the Helton Open tournament back in the day, like 13 years ago, I guess, and we had like 20 some in there. So it was kind of cool to just have that come back alive. We're also with that. We're trying to get the lights functioning. We're almost there. R&M's going to come out and hook up stuff tomorrow, so we're hoping that Thursday or by the end of the day tomorrow we may have lights. So they're going to be coin operated so that they auto turn off and that we don't have random people turning the lights on all the time. You have to at least have a quarter to get them to go on. So excited about that because that project will be almost done besides a sidewalk on the west side. And then another thing, having some issues with that population and parking on that west side. they're not paying attention to their surroundings and they're running over the posts quite frequently.
Tearing up their cars.
Yeah.
Well, they park all over in the grass.
Yeah, they're because there's we're on limited space. Plus, that's just shaded area, so everybody wants to park in the shaded area, but they're like making their own way in there. So I've already talked to Aiken, and I planted the seeds that like, hey, we need to start thinking about finishing our parking lot like we talked about over there. And he said get some estimates. So it may be a blessing in disguise that we may get be able to move forward on a parking lot a little ahead of schedule and maybe not have to put out any funds to do it too, so. But man, that place is packed. There's like 30, 40 people there every
Is
morning.
that the parking along like that, the old track area, is that what you're talking about along the side of the road there?
No, on the west side of the tennis courts.
That little parking area. that's
Yeah,
over
it's
there.
like,
Kind of what you're talking
No, it's not,
No.
the track used to run all the way down the side.
about. Yeah.
oh, okay, like south of the track? Is that what you're talking about? It's train station garage. Pretty much like right off of
Yeah.
the train station.
Yeah.
Right in there.
Well, that's where you're talking.
Yeah. So, it's been, we have people going down one ways and stuff.
We had a lady put the cable with her bumper and like ripped out.
Drive
the
off
post
with- yeah, and still didn't know that she did it until someone stopped her car, and then so she
She's
gets all
dragging the cable
Yeah.
along.
So she gets it all under her bumper, and then she turns out and goes the wrong way on the one way. It's like, can't help that lady.
It wasn't Amy, was it?
No.
Okay.
Did you see her back
I wouldn't put
bumper
it
too?
past
She was like missing
Oh,
a
this is
hunk out. Strike that from the
Strike that
minutes.
from the minutes.
But yeah, so we definitely need to work on that parking lot, and probably faster than what we thought, just because we want to take care. I mean, it's being utilized. That's what we want. So maybe
It's
we can
dangerous. They're
focus
parked there and they're open. They're getting out of the car and people are driving
Oh
by.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
How do you
And-
manage the court time? Let's say that you just wait at your turn, or how do you
So-
keep someone from playing for 3 hours? if
So
it's-
we had one of the pickleballers came to us prior, and he was the one who talked to me about setting up stuff.
Is
like,
that
hey,
Mike Funk?
no, it's not him. But came to me several times too. But Tim Whiteman, I don't know if you know
No.
him. He's a really good guy. He used to be a doctor, but he had helped organize the Brownsburg crew. But he lives in Danville, so he's really like pumped about us getting that here. So he was like, they came in and they had like a lot of needs. They're kind of needy a little bit. So we went over to Plainfield and talked to the Plainfield people like, hey, what are they looking for? What works and what doesn't? And Plainfield has already kind of lived through it a little bit. So we kind of learned from their mistakes a little bit and brought it over to ours. And you just set open play times. And when you set open play times, that's when they all gather. That's why you see them there at 9 o'clock in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I think. And then, so what that does is it brings them all there, and then they set one court as A court. So that's for the advanced players. So one court is always the A court, and then the rest of them are novice, and then they just rotate like as you come in. But they've actually been bringing their own nets too. So they're really playing 6 courts and not 4. So someday, if they stay around and they're consistent, maybe we can migrate that singles tennis on the west side over to 2 more courts. But we'll see. I want to live in it for a while before we.
you said open play. It's like anyone could go down there. Or is
Yeah.
that the people who are in
Yep.
the league?
And they encourage the open play, just because a lot of times they're the ones who are teaching you how to play. Tim has volunteered to do a clinic to where it's like beginners, to where you can, come out. I don't even know if you have to bring your own paddle or not. But him and a couple other pickleballers, you guys were there at the.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah,
teaching us how to play.
he's a pretty solid guy, and so we want to go ahead and work on that because I think a lot of the public doesn't know what pickleball is or how to play it. So if you could have a chance to come out, it's not going to cost us anything, which is great. We're going to bring the registration dollars in, and we're going to use it to help buy them those traveling nets, so the extra nets that they're using. Because right now, I think they're using one of their personal nets. It's going pretty good. It's an interesting group. Definitely had to learn a lot. And they're very needy and wanty. It's like that first day when I was down there, some guy approached. He's like, "You guys ever gonna landscape this?" And I was like, "Yeah, we'll shut down the courts and wait till the landscape happens, and then we'll open them back up." And he's like, "Okay, I get it." I was like, "You guys wanted to get into the courts. That's why we opened them up. We weren't gonna wait on the landscaping and the lights. One, the lights, I don't think we'll really use the lights personally, but Nate needs them for his tournament. So, and they were already there, so we don't want to waste money." But he's like, "All right, are you gonna get lights out here sometime?" I was like, "Wow." So, and then what else did they say? They were pretty amped up though when they saw the graffiti on the pickleball courts. They were saying the same thing as you, like, "Let's get them. We'll hang out down here and wait for them." Yeah. Then they're pulling the back in my day we would it's like, all right. Yeah. Lit it up, right? But yeah, it's they've been good though. Just to see those courts used, I mean, it makes
That's great.
all the suffering and all the changes and the problems that we had totally worth it. But we're finding new things because they're packed. Now we're having parking issues. We really are. Train station area.
Good problems to have.
Yeah, it
That's a
is.
good problem.
It is a good problem for sure. But it's exciting. The buzz is
We
good.
could build that little loop of a trail.
I know.
There while they're down there doing the parking.
Well,
For that.
I know. We need to think about doing that front too, and maybe I'll get some prices on that when we're doing some of the other stuff too, because we've got some money sitting in the impact fee now. I think by the end of the year we may have $30,000 or $40,000 in there. So
Nice.
that's probably enough to do that trail, I would say.
Section.
Yeah. So, I mean, just
We
be
get
thinking
the
about it.
Pickleball players playing at 11:30 at night, and then we'll run off.
There we go.
Put the lights in, we solve all these
Have
problems.
concessions in the
More-
shelter houses.
like
more-
it.
Yeah, exactly.
More court time.
Move the picnic tables out and they could have sheltered pickleball.
Play in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. So swim lessons started. We started something new with the swim lessons too. I don't know if you guys. One of my big pushes was when we switched all these positions around was having more influence on some of these items at the pool and at the DAC that needed to be enhanced. And one was swim lessons. Really, I was embarrassed by our swim lessons and the amount of attention that we could put towards them. So Stan has really gotten in there, and for him, we kind of led him with the direction of you need to talk to the parents because that's they're the ones paying the money. The kids are like, I'm here to swim, whatever. So we have like a laid out regimen of what they're to do that day, and then we go back and talk to the parents after, and we're like, hey, this is what your child learned today. And kind of interacting a little bit more with them so they know where their dollars are going. And I think it's working pretty well, and I think the guards actually like it too, which is surprising because they don't like
Received
anything.
Several compliments already. Good thing. I think they've noticed parents that have brought their children back for this, that change even just this year. Yeah, it's
Things are going good at the pool. The staff is really good this year, better than previous years, past couple years, I would say. And so that helps a lot. They're doers and not doers. So that helps a lot. And we're pretty close to full staff, I think, too. I think we might be at full staff, 19. That helps a lot, too. So it's been good. Fairly good, I think. And then evenings in Ellis. So we had the Fleetwood Mac band in last Friday. They were awesome.
They were great.
Yeah,
You went, right, Jimmy?
No, I dropped the kid off, I didn't go.
I was there. Yeah.
I've talked to many people that were there. They loved it. So I have had a complaint though that no food. People had to leave.
The guy called me on Saturday and said that he thought it was on. He actually had the trailer there on Saturday, and so yeah, I mean that. The problem we're finding is that so we kind of were in this weird thing where we relied on the chamber to kind of handle some of those things, right? Well, then at one point we said there wasn't any food, right? We weren't going to do any food. We were just going to have the two vendors that we had, Kona Ice and the beer truck. But then when we printed the flyer had food on
I know.
it. So it kind of like threw us for a loop. So everybody's kind of scheduled. So we had the Frigid Frog from Plainfield. They were supposed to show up and do kind of like some snacky foods and stuff like that. But, he came on Saturday instead of Friday. So kind of screwed us a little
There wasn't
bit.
anybody at the McGraw thing
No. Well, then the chamber set up for Royal to be there, and they didn't end up doing food. They canceled on the last minute. I think they pulled out a movie too, and we ended up having to do popcorn on our own from the concession stand. So a food vendor has definitely been. I think Tracy was supposed to even show up on.
That's why he's not here.
Yeah, he was supposed to show up on Friday as well. So I mean, the problem is because it's free and we're not charging those vendors, it makes it way easier for them to want to back out if they can. But they missed out. I mean, we had a couple hundred people there. So, I mean, they would have slayed it if one of them would have showed up. I mean, they would have done really well. So, we're living and learning this year, and maybe we can find a vendor that we could trust, or maybe we do a deposit where they put $300 down, you show up to all the events, you get your $300 back.
Yeah.
Because really, we don't need to charge them. We just want them to show up and be
Right.
consistent, because people will rely on like having food there, having those options.
Anyway, I heard it was just great.
Yeah, the
It
band
was
was awesome.
awesome.
They also do
It
an
rained
Eagles.
a little bit, but they kept playing, and people moved if they wanted to.
Yeah,
move it in
people
the shelter
stayed
house.
when it was raining.
Yeah.
That's when you know they're good.
So can you get them back?
Yeah, I can get them back. They also have an Eagles band too, so we may figure out some way to integrate that. And we talked about there's something else we talked about too.
I mean, Will, when you get this thing going, if you get a good band like that, have them come back every year.
Yeah, so that people
will,
can.
they'll get a following,
Yeah.
right?
And they were cheap. So I mean, they're the cheapest band that we have.
Book 'em.
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. They weren't very friendly. That's the only
They were
only
great people,
kickback. Once the music turned on, they were nicer, but I think they came in a little late, so they were a little disheveled, and we had a transformer go out at the pool, and so we thought we were gonna have to turn their power off, and it was a mess Friday.
Imagine next year, then having the new amphitheater structure.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be beautiful
Lighting,
too.
permanent lighting up, but
Yeah, and it'll be way easier to set up the more things that we have to.
Yeah.
So
In the movie, The Secret Life of Pets,
yeah, it was well attended as
Was it?
well.
Good.
Eric and
Yeah.
and we had probably what, 100? So it was decent.
So I think what we're doing is working, and we just need to, the more consistency we have, and I think that'll make it more repetitious for people to know, like, oh, it's the first Friday or it's the second
Right.
Friday concert.
we send out like automatic emails to all of our memberships at DAC and all that.
Yeah, we haven't done that yet because we don't have the DAC in the software. We haven't really done any sort of marketing to that posse yet, but we will eventually. Right now, I think we're sitting at over 3,000 members actually on our software, which
Can
is
you-
awesome.
Do we have a link just on our website thing? Hey, sign up for notifications, just park only notifications. That would be a good thing to do too. 'Cause
I
a
can
lot of
look into
people
that
do
because I'm
that.
working on those buttons too.
Yeah, you could have where you could sign up and that you would
The
get
newsletter or
notices,
something?
notifications that everything goes on in the park.
Yeah.
How did you publicize?
So we've spent a lot of money on Facebook, and it seems to be our number one average. Besides the front marquee is gold. It really is. I mean, I'd probably say front marquee would add 25% business to anything that we do. That's why it's so important to get that sign eventually. But so we did that. We did flyers. We did posters. I've also got some videos and stuff. We haven't put those out yet. And Peg has actually done some press releases for us too, which is nice. And then she's also doing an article in the Icon, I believe. Is it the Icon? That's coming out soon. So we've done okay, I would say, but I think we probably need to branch out and don't just
What
do
about the one guy
Danville,
that does like the voice of Hendricks County radio station out of Brownsville?
WSRB or
He
something.
sponsors stuff at the Royal, and
Yeah, I think
he goes to the Danville Chamber every month.
He reposted us. I know that, like reposted our thing a couple
I just didn't know
times.
if we could.
Yeah, I
some
mean,
sort
we
of
could
radio
figure
out.
something out for sure. Yeah, yeah, something like that. But yeah, that would be a good one for sure. We're gonna meet again. Erica's gonna help us do some of the advertising for the upcoming events, the one at the pool, both at the pool, I guess. So we also bought some leis and stuff, so we're gonna give people leis as they come in, and we're gonna work on the setup for the pool because we gotta figure out how to take care of the sponsors, still be able to manage everything. We talked about closing the street down as a possibility and fencing it, and have like kind of a block party with picnic tables and stuff there, and then have the beer kind of out there, so you go out to get it.
Or in the basketball parking lot, have vendors, two vendors.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about maybe some options there. We want to keep it low key just so that we don't have to, so it doesn't become another symphony, you know, where it's all that work. But if we can keep it simple, and I think add those little extra things, I think it will help a lot. We'll have the concession stand open too, so there'll be food there no matter what. And then the beer guy will be there. I think we talked about maybe Kona Ice. I'm not for sure yet, but we're gonna have like a specialty drink just for that event. Commemorative mug or something. I don't know. But the only thing I'm worried about with that event is really because it's 21 and over, somebody showing up with their fans, having to turn them away. Not a big fan of that. I don't like that. So we'll probably use our mini marquees, line the road so that there's no disappointment coming up to the gate, you know, that we don't have to be the bearer of bad news. They'll be able to see it at least before they come in. Probably also put it on the front marquee. You know, establish that. We will probably post on the Danville Chatter just because it's adults only site sometimes.
Adults that.
Just because I think it'll help get that word out. Because a lot of the reasons why I thought this would work was because of posts that were like, hey, there needs to be an adults night at the pool, you know, this and that. So we're gonna try it, see if it works, but it's worked other places. I think it could work here.
Brings us down to the end of our agenda. Does have anything else to? Hearing nothing, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I think I've
Anything
already
from the
talked too
public?
much. You made it.